Hi there, and welcome to week 3. This is going to be our type guide number 2. Going further into our D2L. Scrolling through, make sure again you look through the learning resources and do your chapter review. And then we've got a guide part 2. So there are no slides for this. Alright, just the video tutorial would be put in here. Going to download this Illustrator file. You'll open this up. This has 5, whoops, let me close these up. You have 5 artboards to work on. First thing you want to do, again, is do a save as. Put your last name after it. I think I've got my video. Okay. All right, this will be okay. Week 3. Again, make sure you save it before you start working on it. We'll go ahead and zoom up here and take a look at what we've got to do. It should be self-explanatory again. The orange copy again should be just visible. Taking a look at our layers one more time. Locked elements, notes in orange. And then I want you to work on the student work layer. And then you're going to be using your text tool again. Creating a paragraph, repeating it into 3 times with point size and leading. So generally the point size is by default 12/14.4, I think. What you want to do as a designer, of course, you are in charge of everything on your design, on your layouts. So defaults are something you probably don't want to do. Paragraph copy, generally 10.5, 10 or 11, somewhere in there is generally the size for paragraph copy. And the leading just depends on check the tonal weight and how much you want to fit on your page. And of course the width of your columns to make it look really, really nice and pleasing. So it does depend. But what we're going to do is use a serif font, repeating a paragraph with the size and leading, repeating it. So you can come in here if you want to, if it's going go through, create a paragraph in here. You can use the text that pops in as default if you want to and repeat it. Where you can type in or copy and paste something from the web, that's fine, okay? 12/12, let's go and take a look at this. Right now it's 12/14.4, again, this is default. 12/12 is very, very tight, as I hope you found out in the last one. If I have this and I copy and paste it, and I select everything, and I go 12/16, whoops, 16. Okay, my text frame's not big enough to select it. Let's go ahead and select the, with the selection tool and drag down. There's 12/16, and then do 12/22. If you need to delete some of the copy, that's okay. I just want you to understand the premise of working with type. And again, this is going to be for paragraph copy. All right, and that's with loading, and make sure you put your definition in here too. What is kerning and tracking? So I've got my examples in here, and what you can do is find the kerning and tracking here in the character panel. This is spacing between 2 characters, so that A and W, capital A and W, generally is by default. This is without the kerning. It's almost too far away. So when you work with capital letters and like headlines, kerning kind of comes into play. You want to, again, modify the spacing so it looks more appealing. And the letter forms and the words work better together, okay? So you can just grab your text tool, click in here, type in A and W if you want to, make it nice and big. And then you might have to adjust the fonts a little bit, maybe find a different font that has more of a spacing in it, but this one's okay too. And if I had this as no kerning and this as kerning, I put my cursor between here. Now which one's kerning here? This is kerning and this is tracking, okay? So kerning is between 2 letter forms, and it looks like I've already got this track or kerned here. Let me take a look at this one. If I go to 0, what happens? So it is keeping up with what I had done in the past. If I click in between here Let's go to -80 and modify this. Let's go to 110. So you're going to be working with kerning and tracking. This is kerning up here. And again, you can get rid of these orange things or just turn them off when you're done. Tracking is a phrase. This is tight tracking. This is regular and loose. And how you do that, I'm just going to pop some copy in here. And I would like you to kind of put actual text in here. Just trying to keep this small. Let's go down here and quick. Okay. Maybe I should leave this up a little bit bigger. Okay. So if I go to tracking, this is going to be, you can see how it's selected in black. It's all going to be selected. And then you just kind of start going down, and this is tracking. So you can always go too much, right? But that is tracking. That's a tight tracking like this, regular and loose. Alignment, you're going to find in the paragraph panel. So if I've got a paragraph here, well, that looks absolutely horrendous, doesn't it? It's picking up the last formatting I did. Let's go to approximate size, 16 on 22, 16 on 22. Okay. Making sure it's not picking up any kerning or track while tracking on this sense. But then, yes, you might want to add some more copy here, okay? 16 on 22 for each of the 4 pair assignments listed. Let's make this smaller so you can see it more. Okay, so this content is left aligned, and I want it flush right. Copy and paste. This is justified. Well, this is centered, I'm sorry. Justified, I need to actually go to the paragraph panel and justify. You probably don't ever, maybe for poems, okay, justify with last line. These 3 options might be great with poems, but this first one is justified. And you're going to see that there's going to be a lot of widows going on, not widows, rivers in between your copy when you justify copy. So go through centered, flush left. It's going to be in the paragraph panel. Here are your alignments: left, center, right, and justified. Okay. What we just talked about, what to avoid. Widows, orphans, rivers. They're kind of already shown here what they are, but look online or please go through the videos and find them in the LinkedIn videos. Paragraph and character panels. Go ahead and label each. So, create a text frame, and you might want to set up your copy first. So let's go and make this 13. I don't know what it's going to be. Might be tiny, a little too small here. But if I click in here, I'm just going to click and type in, what is this? This is my typeface. And put there. So go ahead and label all these items in the character and paragraph panels. This one's kind of showing you what is going on here. This is different hyphenations. So I just want to work with in here and see what happens. I'll go ahead and delete all 3 here. Come on, there we go. Create 3 narrow paragraphs. Left justified copy, about 16 on 20. In a 3 paragraphs will be no hyphenation, default hyphenation, and modified hyphenation. So how do we do that? Here's 1 narrow paragraph. This is going to be left justified. Okay, left justified. We got to do this. Paragraph panel. Oh, just left, okay. Okay, just align left. I better change that to left aligned, okay? Let's see what it looks like. Now I'm kind of curious. 1, 2. If I have this left justified, we're going to see some different things happen here. Okay, so this aligned left, this is justified. All right, our copy is a little bit small, but let's just take a look at this. This paragraph has, let's take a look. In the paragraph panel, it's not hyphenated right now. If I hyphenate, it kind of works a little bit better, okay? It's kind of working kind of nicely. This one, if I hyphenate here, it's definitely going to help in a couple different areas. Okay, let me show you another little thing here. Modified hyphenation. If I go and click on the little hamburger icon and I go to hyphenation, you can actually modify words longer than or shorter than. Let's say the word has to be longer than 8 letters. Okay, there's got to be at least 2 letters before the hyphenation and 2 letters after the hyphenation. Okay, hyphenation limit generally I think is 3. Okay, and you can change the zone too. Let's see what happens here. Previews. Not a lot. Let's go and cancel this for a second and make this smaller. And this is kind of small copy, so let's go ahead and change this up too. Okay, maybe you'll see it more. I just want you to understand what hyphenation and how much you have in control of everything that you format. Okay, so let's go back to paragraph panel. And why we don't want this. Let's get rid of that just for grins. Okay, you can see how this is hyphenating, and it's very, very tight too. Let's go back to the hamburger icon, down to hyphenation, and let's make words longer than 9. Preview. You can see you're going to get more ragged rights with this because you're not allowing the computer to hyphenate as often. Let's go to after. Let's go make this 6 again. Preview. But if I make the letters, let's 4 and 4, that's not going to make much sense, is it? Let's go 3 and 3 first. And preview. You're modifying how this appears. Hyphenation, you want better spacing. Appears. Fewer hyphens, more ragged right. So it's just showing that you got, again, a lot of control. Okay, hanging indent, first line indent. Okay, first line indent. What this does, I'm going to change this a little bit, 16 on 20, so we can see this a little bit better. Clicking and dragging in here, 16 and 20, first line indent. Let's go to the paragraph panel again. Here's some indents. This is left indent that will indent everything. Let me just go ahead and do this. And you can see how it's indenting from the left area, right? Over in here. Jump up. There we go. Okay, so your left indent. Let's do that back to 0. Your first line indent, if you point to this, it tells you exactly what it's going to do. And let's just go to 20 here. Quite a bit. There we go. That's your first line indent. So if you have a paragraph that starts here, every paragraph will have a nice indent, and you can see right away that you're controlling again how the formatting is and making it easier for the viewer to read. Okay, so that's your first line indent. Your right indent is similar to left indent. It indents the whole thing. Now I only had my cursor in this paragraph, so it only indented this. If you want it to affect everything, you've got to do a select all. So I have my cursor in here, my blinking line, select all, inside my text frame. And if I do 30 here, everything on the right will be indented. Okay? And this is a great little thing too. This is space before paragraph and space after paragraph. Let me make another paragraph in here. Now we have 3, just to kind of show you what this is. Again, if I want it to affect everything, I've got to do a select all. Make sure I've got my text tool. Click inside, select all. Now if I do space after or maybe before, it's going to put spacing before the second and third paragraphs. Okay? If you do it after, it'll do after the first 2 paragraphs. So again, you're controlling everything about formatting with copy. Okay, did we do the hanging indent? This is kind of interesting too. Copy, paste. Well, I don't need a paste, we'll just use the same one. Okay, hanging indent. So I'm just going to do it with this paragraph only. I can select the whole thing, or I can just click and hold. as long as my cursor, if my blinking line is inside. This is a hanging indent. So you're going to indent everything on the left-hand side, but you're going to hang it and make it negative. There's your hanging indent. Okay? That's a hanging indent. We did paragraph space after already. Okay. Quotes. Hanging quotes. Oh my gosh, I always forget where this is. And it's so simple, but I don't ever remember. Let me see, I'm going to grab a paragraph of copy here. And I have an extra paragraph. Okay, so we'll make this bigger. Select all. Copying. And again, letting's always got to be more. And I'm going to put a quote before and a quote after, and make sure I do not have any spacing issues here. So there's my quote, okay? So regular quote, right? See paragraph panel, thank goodness I put this in here. Okay, so this quote, what we're gonna do, paragraph panel, hamburger icon, and Roman hanging punctuation. Now, do you see the difference between the two? How it's aligned. The hanging quote will go outside the actual text frame. And it looks really great when you got like a quote on a page as like a big, like a subhead or some, a call out. It looks a whole lot better, right, than this. It just is an optical illusion in a sense that this one looks better, that it's outside the text frame. So that's one way to do it. Okay, single quotes. Do you see the difference? These are regular quote marks with the keys on the, on the quote keys next to your return key. But this is not a key command. This is an actual glyph. So I'm going to go ahead and click right here and type in 6.5. Whoops, 6.5. Make it much bigger for you to see. Okay, and this is going to be a glyph. I'm going to click after the 6, and my blinking line is in there. Going to type menu, 2 glyphs, and every font's got a big series of glyphs. And we've got straight quote marks. We've got the angled ones, a single quote, and we're going to scroll down through here and find, okay, where in the world? Oh, maybe that is it. Okay. Yeah, because it's like the last few things I've done. I'm sorry. So 6.5. If I double click here, once doesn't work. I got to double click it. There's my, no, that's in the wrong, that's 6 inches. My bad. I got to change this. Cut and paste it here. Okay. And here's 6. Looking for the simple, here it is. This is the foot. So just click on it once. And this is the proper quotes. Feet versus regular quote mark. So for inches and feet, you're using glyphs. Okay, so stroke values only use in headlines. All right, so I'm going to see what this works like. You're going to do a, here's a bad example that you're going to create yourself, right? So small copy should not be outlined, period. If there's a readability issue, you need to kind of modify your design, colors, backgrounds, whatever it might be. If I go ahead and again, make sure this is nice and big. That's almost too big. Let's go 40 on 50. Okay, I'm going to click and drag in here. There is your copy. It is black. We have a black fill and a stroke value. Okay, so of none right now. So this one, let's go to the swatches panel. Again, if it's not open, you'll find it under window, color. Whoops, nope, it's all the way down. Swatches. Okay. So the fill color is here. So if you click a color, it's just always going to be a fill. Okay. So if I click on the stroke value then, and it's now in front, and I give it a color of, let me just go to I guess a dark color. What goes well with, we'll just go black, blue, whatever. Okay, so it just makes it harder to read than this. Okay, even if I just go black, it kind of modifies. It's just not the best scenario, okay? Black is better, or just a solid color is better for readability, okay? So you're gonna give a paragraph with color text with a black stroke, so that's gonna be bad. And then you'll create a headline, the single word, a large copy, and stroke. One more thing I wanna show you. Let me get rid of this, because this is mine. Okay, so this is one, and if we do something, I'll just jump this up in size again. Copy and paste. Okay, this item is text, right? I can click in here and I can select it, it's still copy. Like the orange copy that I've got on the layouts, they are outlined, so they are now shape forms. So I'm gonna take this one and I'm going to outline the copy. Type, create outlines, and right now they're all individual. So I like to group them if I'm grouping object, group. Why can't I group this? Type, I did outlines already, object. Maybe I hit group already because it's a habit of mine, Command G. Okay, so we're gonna do the same thing. This is text with an outline on it, okay? This is text, and I'm gonna do something a little bit different with this one, because this can be outlined, again, that's fill, right? We're gonna put black on it. Kind of looks the same, right? But let's take a look at something else. Let's go to stroke value, okay? And we're gonna make this bigger so you can see it. Whoops, I gotta have to keep it selected. Okay, you see what's happening to it? Right now, stroke values are, they go inside and outside shapes, automatically kind of splits it in half. But if I do this differently, and I change where the line stroke is, see, this is centered. This is gonna be inside, which gives you absolutely no reason to do that with copy. But if I go the outside, that's a whole big difference, right? You can't do that if it's actual text. But when you turn it into shapes, you can do that, and there's some great ways to do this. So you'd really want to do it this way for sure, or have like 2 different layers to do it with. But once you turn in text into outline, you cannot go back and edit it. Okay, we are only on 3. Okay, this will be easy though. Okay, body text and X height serif fonts. What we're looking for, do you see that this should be an orange too? Do you see the difference? This is the same size. Avant-Garde is a very large X height. That's from like the top of the O to the little o. Okay, this is the X height. And you can tell that there's not much above for the top. So the X height, again, is like the A, all right? Over here, the X height is a little bit smaller. It just appears. This is actually built bigger too. Just the font, the typeface was built differently, wider, and the whole 9 yards. So you're gonna be going through looking for different heights, X heights of serif fonts. So again, go ahead and make a smaller, 18 on 20. We'll start that over and just let the Lorem Ipsum come in. Okay, so this is not a serif font. We can go to this one. This is a serif font. Very difficult to read though. There's Georgia. Copy and paste. Let's take a look at a different font. Can I go to filter? I am going to filter and going to serif. Okay, so a little easier to work with. Okay, and let's find something that's way different. So I'm looking at X height. So that's different. You can tell that's different too. Just the way it's been built. Make sure you use upper and lower case for this. I'm looking for, that's a little bit different. That you can definitely see how short these are. They're more wide. So you've got a much larger ascender up here and descender, whereas these up here are shorter. So that's what we're looking for X heights. Okay, and then same thing with sans serif fonts. And type guide, simply you're going to take a look at the music copy provided, modify leading, tracking, alignment with each box. There's no right or wrong. I just want you to kind of experiment what happens with alignment, and then you're going to type in here, well, what you did. Leading, tracking, alignment. Did I say font? Use the same font, must be used for all copies. So whatever you decide to use, that's fine. So this is 12 on 26. Leading, maybe I'll put that in here. This would be 12 on 26. Alignment is left aligned. I'll copy and paste it. I'll put it in here. Okay, I'm going to select it all. I'm going to make this, is it all the same size? Yeah, all 12 point, okay. Leading, we'll go to 14 to make this tight. And then we're going to make it even tighter by modifying my tracking. That's going to go like -20, which is quite a bit, but that's okay. In alignment, maybe I'll go center just for fun. So then you'll just go ahead and type this in. So you'll do it for each of the 6 boxes. And then I believe, yes, then you will be completed for the assignment.